Sorry, it looks like I'm having little glitches today in the live, but I'm here. I'm a little bit later than normal. Joseph had what we call his big chemo day, which means we're there most of the day. We had a great day today. We got in there early, got through earlier than normal, so I'm able to be on here with you. But today I'm going to talk about something that's not talked about a lot. So I'm going to need my little notes out, and so you have to give me a little bit of time on certain things. And also I need to put do not disturb on the phone. But anyway, we're going to talk about the connection between trauma and eating disorders. I know it's kind of a heavy topic to be talking about, but most trauma is pretty heavy. So I do want to touch on this, and it's not going to be in depth or anything like that, but we do need to touch on it so we can be there for each other on these situations. But most of the time, the underlying thing is trauma, and so in order to heal from this and to get it manageable, we need to look at the trauma. So I do want to go through that today. Let me get my notes out. Get them to where I can read them and talk to you. Okay, so here we go. Okay, first of all, what is the connection is the big thing. How do they interact? Now, we do know with trauma that you can have your brain pathways can change. You can have some problems keeping your emotions in balance, things like that. So keep that in mind, okay? But in a 2007 study, Bremercher study, they did realize that it was usually associated with trauma was usually associated with eating disorders. The different traumas included sexual assault, sexual harassment, physical abuse and assault, emotional abuse, and physical neglect, including a food deprivation, meaning that you don't get the food that you need. Somebody is either keeping it away from you, or you just don't even have it available to you at that time. And that can be a big trauma. Also, teasing and bullying are traumas that are sometimes ongoing. So these are things that can lead to that. And the exact mechanism is still not clear. I mean, they're working on it all the time, but it's still not actually clear what the mechanism is that triggers this. But it's there. We do realize that it is there, okay? So keep those things in mind. And also, because we're human, when we have these traumas, we will, in order to self-soothe and things like that, we will turn to addictions and things like that, and sometimes this does include food. So so first we need to look at the symptoms. Now, the symptoms aren't just what you typically think they're going to be, but there are some, obviously this is not a complete list, but it is a list to get started with. Frequent dieting, just always dieting, and might take a break every now and then, but it's frequent. It's up and down all the time. Because in that case, then you're going to have chronic weight fluctuations up and down. So this is one thing that we have to deal with Joseph, is when we go into the doctor, they want to know if there's big weight fluctuations, because that can mean something. And they also have really rigid rituals and routines around exercise and eating food. That's a big one. I have had friends before that they get very, very rigid around their food intake and their exercise. And they also have feelings of guilt and shame associated with eating. And they also can have a loss of control of food, around food itself. And also they will use exercise as a means of a way of coping. But once again, it's very rigid, and they'll purge themselves of the bad foods. So the next thing I want to look at is how it's treated and what the different treatments are for right now. Of course, we're always looking, we're always trying to change things, and because usually people have really, it's a personal thing of ever experienced it in their family and seen the devastation that can come from it. So they'll put their whole life into it. First, you have the psychotherapy, and then you have what's called Maudsley approach, and that's where if you have a teenager that has an eating disorder, you'll bring the whole family in for family therapy to do that. And then you'll have medications because there's usually an underlying thing like depression and stuff like that. And then you have nutrition counseling. Now, with all of these together, and usually it's not like you do one or the other, usually it's a combination, but we're totally realizing now that you've got to get to the root, and most of the time the root will be a trauma related event or a series of events. So once you get to the root, that doesn't mean it's, oh, we've got to the root. Oh, sorry, froze again. Oh, we got to the root and now we're done. Nope, that's not how it works. So now it's all easy. No, it just gives us a really good jumping off point so that we can get going. And the next thing is, and this is what a lot of people is, what can I do? Whether I'm the person that is having the eating disorder or it's a family member. And so, hold on one second, I've got a problem here. It's a family member that's going through it. So what you can do is, first of all, you can educate yourself. Then you can recognize how distressing the illness is on the person who has it. Don't worry, they know about it, okay? And it's very distressing. Never make assumptions about how they feel. Go and ask. That's very important. And also avoid discussing things like weight, shape, food, and diets at all. Try to keep them out of the conversation and let them know that recovery is always possible, that you're there, okay, whatever that they need. And also recognize your accommodating and enabling behaviors, such as, okay, let's say the person is purging and it gets to a bad point and they're having a really tough time, so they're throwing up and things. Well, you're going in and you're cleaning it up. No, don't do that kind of thing, but be there for them, okay? But these are just a way to get started so it doesn't feel so overwhelming, and we can be there and be there together for each other as we're going through this. I've been having a lot of computer problems today, and I think my computer is getting ready to shut down, so I'm going to get off of here, and I hope you have a great day.